Hi, my name is Lily Rose. I studied at Cambridge University and I graduated last year and I studied Human, Social and Political Sciences, which is quite a long course title, but essentially I mainly did a lot of sociology. And my pronouns are she, her, and I'll be chairing this discussion. Leah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Leah and I study history at Royal Holloway University of London. I'm just finishing my second year now and my pronouns are she, her.
Thank you. Sabana, would you like to introduce?
I'm Sabana. I study youth and community work at the University of Bedfordshire. I'm a third year student and my pronouns are she, her.
Megan?
My name's Megan. I study social work at the University of Beds. I'm just finishing my second year. My pronouns are she, her.
And Danielle?
Hi, my name's Danielle. I go to Brunel University and I study sociology. I'm in second year and my pronouns are she, her.
So it was kind of actually quite random how I ended up studying my course. So I originally applied to study psychology, and when I started university I became really poorly. I really struggled with anxiety, really badly. I was really very unwell and the course was just too intense for me and I was finding myself being too introspective, and so I decided that there needed to be a change of course, and I just woke up one morning and was like, I need to study history, because I did politics, history and psychology at A-level. So it was kind of like, it was a direction that, I'd already considered.
I started studying youth and community work because I always used to work with kids since I was 18. And plus I found myself happiest working with young people, to be fair. So I just thought, why not get a qualification in this sort of field?
I say sociology because my family wanted us to all go uni. My mum and my dad, they wanted all their children to go uni. So it was kind of like I had to go. I didn't really know what to study at the time, and I just picked sociology because it was something where I can go into different venues, I guess. So it was really broad. But now I know what I want to do, so it's kind of good that I did sociology. So it's not directing me on one focus.
What is it that it's led you to know what you want to do?
I want to do a master's in social work now, so yeah.
Megan?
So I didn't go to uni until I was 20. First of all, I did an apprenticeship as a teaching assistant because I think I've always been quite passionate about caring and supporting for others and stuff. And then I think I'm quite lucky to say that I've had a really good experience with social workers and social services and stuff. So I kind of think I wanted to go into social work to help people in the same way that they help me, type of thing. So yeah.
So I lived in supported lodgings when I was applying for university. So I had a key worker who was on shift, and they used to help me do my UCAS and help me go to different open days and stuff. In terms of my social work or my YPA, they didn't really help as much as they probably could have, but I'm just grateful I had a really supportive key worker who would take me outside London to go to these different universities and stuff. So yeah. Yeah, just so I can see an adult opinion as well, because I feel if I went with my friends, I think it will be I'm just going because they're going as well. So yeah.
Anybody else? Yeah, Leah?
So I moved into supported lodgings when I was 17, and I didn't really have much support with university applications from my foster placement. There wasn't really that much interest in it. I applied to Cambridge and they kind of tried to discourage that and things like that. But I was very, very lucky that I had some really strong connections at my school. So my head of year, the teacher who taught me history, they were amazing in giving me that confidence and helping me make those applications and things like that. I didn't go to open days, but I was really lucky that my head of year, when it came to moving into university, actually moved me in. So I was really lucky that I had my school network.
That's really good to hear. anybody else want to share like what kind of support or help they received? Yeah, Megan?
I think like when I was at school and stuff like that, and like I used to live with my auntie, I think that university was like never really on the cards. Like I didn't really have that like self-confidence and belief that like someone like me could make it to uni. So it wasn't until like I was probably like 19 or something, like the virtual school and like my personal education advisor, they really like supported me and like gave me that self-belief that I could go to uni. So like honestly, I don't think if it wasn't for her and like the virtual school and stuff, there's no way I don't think I'd be at uni like without their support. So yeah, I'm really like grateful for that.
Anna, do you want to share anything to that question?
I think with my foster carers, they weren't supportive and stuff. Like they really discouraged me. They were like, no, uni's not going to be for you, it's going to be hard, etc. Then I moved out into supported lodging and stuff, and I had a key worker who kind of saw potential. And then the virtual schools in like Bedfordshire were really like keen to get me in, help me do like my personal statement. That was really long, and all of my UCAS and stuff. And then we were offered like an open day at the University of Bedfordshire as well, which was like really cool to see, because we had to like stay a night and actually experience like a whole 48 hours of what it was like to be a student. And that's what actually gave me the push to think, yeah, uni is going to be a thing.
Thanks guys. So it's interesting that like in all of these discussions you've all kind of like identified like some sort of like individual, whether it's like a head of year or like a key worker who's really sort of like seen potential, which is like just quite lovely to hear.
I think they need to be like 100% supportive of what a young person's ambitions is, like no matter if it's big or small. And obviously they should, like as you would do with your own child, you would sit there, look at the applications, look at the ratings of unis and stuff, like just to be a bit more person-centered instead of just like thinking, oh, this is just a job and they are foster children kind of thing. Just have it like that personal touch.
I think for me, it's a similar thing. Like having that support would have been really useful, and I think for foster carers to believe in their foster children and kind of not see them as, you know, so often I think when I was younger as well, like being a foster child became my whole identity. And actually I think that if foster carers can understand that they need to work with their children to build their own sense of identity, that realise their own ambitions, their own strengths, their own weaknesses, away from what they've been through and what they're dealing with, to kind of invest in a future that almost, so that they get it into their heads that, you know, they can break the mold, they can do it, rather than always feeling like you can't. Like we know what it feels like to not feel like we can achieve and everything. We've been through enough to know that we want somebody who's encouraging us to like get out, take a step back and realize what we do want to do.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I think as well, like it's just encouragement with the whole process of actually even getting into uni, like the personal statement and the whole process of UCAS and that kind of stuff. Because like I remember at school they had like 2 different assemblies you could go to for like year 11, so you could either go to like the apprenticeship assembly or like the university assembly. And like I would always just like, my teachers would literally just send me to the apprenticeship assembly, that they didn't even like think that I could kind of do that, like university and stuff. So yeah, I think it's just the whole like support and encouragement that you can actually go to university and it's not like out of your remit.
Does anyone else want to add anything to that?
I think as well, especially like with foster carers, they're quite like, some of them are a lot older, so they don't actually understand like the whole UCAS application and how it works and like how to write a statement. So they probably can't help in that sense, but even just like helping the young person go to uni days, like open days and stuff, could be helpful for that young person as well.
Yeah, there's some really interesting answers there. I feel like the biggest thing that's just been pulled out is just a very person-centered approach and a non-judgmental one, in which like you take it from what the person you're fostering says, rather than automatically assuming like, oh no, you can't go there, or like you need to just go to the apprenticeship assembly. That's really interesting. Thanks, guys.
From my school, my second sixth form was very like one where even if you wanted to do apprenticeship, they would like strongly encourage you to go to universities or like to even just process like a UCAS application. So they helped us, like they did loads of different talks. They had people from like NHS and like other services come in and talk to us about like university and like where a degree can take you and stuff. So I feel like my sixth form helped in that sense, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't probably even know what university was, or like what it can, how it can benefit me as well.
Yeah, so I'm the same. My school was instrumental in my university journey, in kind of helping me believe in myself, giving me the tools and the resources. They did a few like they had lots of different universities come. They've had like beyond, my sixth form was Bayton. We had like beyond Bayton days where you would have where they had like apprenticeships, they had some NHS, they like very similar things, and you could go to different ones. And I was really lucky that when it came to doing the UCAS, I had a mentor and also my head of year. So quite often they would constantly be encouraging me and helping me find out more and things like that.
I think for me it was the virtual school and my personal education advisor, because again it was like that confidence and self-belief that she, I think, put it in, like she literally like built me up and like gave me that confidence, so that enabled me later on in life to like go to uni and stuff. And then again it was from the virtual school. They kind of like have a higher education coordinator that you can like speak to, that will help you look at different universities, like the bursaries that they might offer and like that kind of stuff. So that was quite good as well.
Mine was definitely like virtual schools as well. They helped me like throughout the UCAS applications, what unis I could go to, and my key worker where I was living, to be fair, were there only like 2 people who actually thought, yeah, let's sit her down and actually show her the process, because I was always daunted by how like long the UCAS application was.
That's really interesting. I think for me, it was a teacher when I was at secondary school. He had just started and he was new, and he said, he was like, before we start with this like lesson plan, I'm going to give you this presentation on like what university is and like the benefits of it and why it might be something that you want to consider. And then at the end of it, there was like lots of like links to websites. And yeah, it was quite an inspiring presentation for me. And I went away and I just like, basically then I just like scoured the internet, like looking at all these links and finding out more. So I think that like online resources were really beneficial.
I think in year 12 I lost like faith in myself and my ability to actually get into university. So like when we did like our mocks and everything, I got like really low grades, and when we did the AS exams, when the results came, I got like U, and then my school was telling me how you have to like resit the whole year, and like unis won't let you get in because your predicted grades will be really low because of like my outcome grades of AS, and I just literally had no belief in myself that I can get into uni, until like my support workers and my key workers and stuff actually helped me and pushed me to do better. So they actually gave me the chance to just go into year 13 without really sitting the year. So I think the biggest hurdle just like putting myself down and just like, I don't know, not knowing how good I can be like academically. So I think that was the biggest hurdle, and like not having that like support system like from like family around to actually support me as well. I think that was one of the biggest hurdles, just having people who like were outsiders and not someone close to me supporting me.
I think for me it was I had a lot of things going on. So at sixth form, like I left my foster placement. I was then like declared homeless, and I was moving from night stop to night stop, and then I then moved into supported lodgings, and then it still wasn't quite right, and then eventually I moved. But I think that was during that time of like thinking about what was next. And then for me, I went for a court case, and I had to give evidence, and it was kind of that whole lack of support network and kind of literally feeling like I was just trying to survive every day and trying to get through. And I desperately wanted to live in the county where my school was. It was in a different county to where I was. So I was traveling so far to school. I was so distant from all my friends. So I found that really hard. So that kind of consumed a lot of my time. But I'm very, very lucky that my sixth form, you know, every day they would be there for me, you know, trying to help me get through. They even paid for my transport to get to school, because they were like, we want you to do well, kind of thing. So I think with regards to university, there was that financial barrier that I thought I wouldn't be able to do it, that kind of self-belief, and also the logistics, because at so many points I feel like I could have just fallen off, but you know, that kind of motivation to just keep going.
Yeah, sorry. I agree, like, with those comments, because I think a lot of it lies down to like self-belief as well, because I think, I don't know, like being at school and stuff, it's like I'm looking at everyone else around me thinking, oh my gosh, like they've got the perfect, like they're going to uni and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, obviously that's not for me. And it just never was on the cards until my personal education advisor and like support worker and stuff like gave me that self-belief and that I could go. So yeah, and also I think money worries as well was like a bit of a barrier, because when I went to uni I was 20 and I just got my flat, so I was thinking I've got to balance like paying for a flat and going to uni. So I was literally looking at all the uni websites, like what bursaries they were offering, because if they wasn't offering anything like support wise for care leave and stuff, then I don't think I would be able to like manage it all and stuff. So yeah.
I agree with all the ladies' comments 100%. I was quite nervous and timid going through school as well, high school and everything. And because I was like in the country, out of the country, I never thought academically I could get there. I went to uni when I was about 21, actually, quite late. And it was the money sort of things, like how am I going to move my stuff, supported accommodation, they're quite like expensive to live in. How am I going to manage that? Am I going to need a job? And it was like virtual schools and my PA who actually settled my nerves to say like, look, you're entitled to this, you're entitled to that, to like settle me down. And academic wise, I had done a like pre-exams for my uni just to like balance me out, to say no, it can be achievable and stuff.
Yeah, thanks guys. I think like the kind of answers that you're like sharing there are pretty common themes that care leavers who are like trying to go through that path to higher education seem to face, like the feeling of like you're just trying to survive while like you're getting through school, and the sort of like fear of money, and then self-belief is such a huge barrier for me as well. Thanks guys.
To support you to actually go in to see the tutors and stuff. And generally like my PA was quite good as well, like she would take me for my little, or if we need to sign something in, and even like for registration and stuff, I was very well supported by them too, like adults.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like at Uni of Beds, they have like a care leavers like person, I don't know what you'd call them, but yeah, she literally emailed me a week within my like when I started at uni and was like, do you want to meet up for a coffee? And I was a bit like, oh, at first, but then I went to meet her and she was like saying how like all the support that she can offer me and stuff like that. So I think that was really good to know that there's somebody at school at uni, sorry, that I can go to like if I ever needed to. And again, I feel like it's virtual schools again, like I'm proper advocating for them today, but it's like literally the virtual schools are the reason I'm at uni, like, yeah.
I think for me it was, again, having that person at university. There was someone who, you know, her job is to look out for care leavers, and I was freaking out before going to university, and I was very attached to my school because that had always been my consistency. So that transition, I was really frightened of it. And what was great is that my school continued to support me after I'd left, and that before starting university, that the person there had contacted me, and she got so many emails from me of like, I don't know what I'm doing, like all my worries and everything, and it was really great. So whenever I have any issues, I can go to her and she'll steer me in the right direction and encourage me and stuff like that. So it's really nice to know that you don't feel lost, that you've got something, you know.
I think likewise as well, with what everyone, like the girls were saying, the person at uni. So with Brunel, the lady was even emailing before I even arrived. Like from the day I submitted my application and they approved of it, like on results day, she was emailing me like, "We can't wait to meet you." They invited me to like something called Head Start, which is like a week before the official, like everyone moved in. So I moved in a week earlier, and just meeting people who are in like the same situation as me, or like estranged students and stuff like that. So we all kind of had that initial bond with each other before like everyone else came in. And yeah, she just always checked up on me, and if I had any concerns with like money and stuff, she worked for like the ambassador roles within the uni, so she got me a lot of the jobs there. And even like during summer holidays where the ambassador role wasn't as frequent, she took me like under like as a personal assistant. So I did like a lot of her work, so I can still get money coming in. So I think without her support, I wouldn't know where I would be. The transition, like someone said about from secondary school to university, meeting new people, living in a flat where you don't know anyone, they're all coming from different backgrounds. I think that was the hardest, and actually like making bonds with people, because I'm quite like, I don't know, because I was so used to my friends from secondary school, because we all went to sixth form as well, because it was like a secondary school and a sixth form, then having to move to go to university where I have no one familiar around me. I think that was the hardest thing, and just adapting to like all these like events going on in the university, trying to like join like the societies and stuff. Just a lot of it was just getting myself out there. I think that was the hardest thing.
Yeah.
I think for me, university was really overwhelming, and that I was living in a flat with people, and kind of I had my mental health issues and anxiety and stuff like that, and I was living with people, quite a lot of them who had never experienced anything like that before. They, that the most they knew about foster care was Tracy Beaker or something like that. So
that's actually true.
They didn't really know, and kind of there was this distance between us for a while, because they saw me struggling and they were just like, what is she doing, like just get on with it kind of thing. So I think it was very, very overwhelming, and it wasn't until probably after Christmas that I actually started to, okay, I can actually do university, So I think for a while I did feel quite lost, but yeah, I think we got there eventually.
Anybody else want to share? Yeah.
Well, you can go first.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. I think it's like, I think there's still such like a stigma around like being in care and like care leavers and stuff. So for me, it was like the whole social side of uni as well, was like academically, like I was like, I don't know whether to open up to these people. Like, I don't know, like even say like, if I invite them back to my flat, it's always in the back of my head, like, what if they ask me why I've got a council flat? Or like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to like open up to people and stuff. And also for me personally, like, because I'm studying social work, I found some of the topics within that it's like quite close to home and stuff. Like, so I'll be in a lecture and I'll be there like twiddling my thumbs, like, oh, I need to leave. And I've had like sometimes during uni where I thought, oh, I can't do this anymore. Like, I've chosen the wrong thing. Like, I need to drop out. So I think the subject I've chosen is good, but it's also like it's quite close to home. So I feel like that's quite like difficult.
I think for me, it was like the cultural side of things. It was like, I go to the University of Bedfordshire, that's highly Asian dominant as well. And because I'm like British Pakistani, being in care was like something that was frowned upon by like people from outside and stuff. So it was like I had a stamp on my forehead probably saying care leaver, everybody just knew. And it kind of like made it really, really hard to like even trust anybody outside of that sort of thing, because like people say a lot of things to like get you down, obviously. Social wise, I was always like very selective anyway, and I'm quite quiet, so I just tended to like do my own thing kind of thing. With youth and community work as well, we go over some things like the attachment theory, and I would be sitting there going, ooh, like things would like bug me. Like there's times where I burst out crying and I've had to leave. Like I think it was like just facing some of the things that you know are reality, but then when there's a lecturer saying it to you, like, oh my god, it's not paper sealed kind of thing, and you're like, ooh, this is reality now. So yeah, I think that was a bit of a hard bit to get through.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I really resonate with a lot of the things that you guys have just shared there. I think for me it was definitely like, so I just kept really quiet about the fact that I was a care leaver when I first arrived, like did not tell anybody until, well, it was actually really hard, like keeping quiet about it as well, because people talked a lot about like their parents, or like would be like, oh, what do your parents do, like that kind of thing, and I would always just like gently guide the conversation away from that. And then it kind of just got to a point where I was like quite upset about something to do with my family. So it meant that like one of my friends like found out about that, and then I think it just got to a point where I was like quite tired of like trying to conceal this pretty big thing. So I ran for like it's called like Care Leaver and a Strange Students Officer, like on like this like campaign, and then I was kind of like, yeah, well everyone knows now, so that's great.
As well, so I actually started studying psychology, and I had my heart set ever since year 10, you know, psychology is what I want to do. I want to be a cognitive neuroscientist helping stroke patients recover. Like that was the dream. And when I started studying psychology, kind of a similar situation to some of you guys, it was too close to home, it was too intense. So I switched to study history, and I think, you know, having that contact was brilliant, because I just emailed her and I said, look, I need to change, and she met with me, she printed off my grades, everything like that. We went to the history office and I switched. And I've also had the counselling at university, and I'm now in having therapy with talking therapies. I don't know if any of you have heard of that. So that's the kind of support I've experienced, but my personal tutor as well has been very good as well. I'm one of the people, I avoid my lecturers because I'm like, I find them really intimidating. So they're like, come to my office hours, and I'm like, yeah, sure, you won't ever see me there. So there's one of my tutors, she's really great, and she's been, you know, I've had a Zoom call with her since lockdown, and she checked in with how I was doing. So I think there's a massive difference between, like, sixth form, I was having support every day, probably too much. I was quite attached. It was, you know, because they were my role models, that was my consistency. So going to university, there was it was really challenging, because there was a big difference. But there, you know, this has helped me grow, and like I'm like, okay, I'm actually an adult, you know, I can actually do this, you know, having that self-belief. So yeah.
I think for me it was literally virtual schools, the access team at the university, and one of my lecturers that I got on with really, really like well. They guided me through, like, I've had like so many like temper tantrums whilst being in the uni, but it's like they've all like understood, like it's not coming from like a bad place, it's like because I can't function sort of things. And just having the support of like my PA to tell me like what finance I could get, and like what the university had offered, and like being able to work alongside the university as an outreach assistant was something that kept me afloat, because finances were like one of my big like fears. And then like just doing like little exercises with them on like my confidence, and like just generally how to like talk to people. Like if we went 3 years back, I wouldn't be able to sit on this Zoom call and actually have a conversation with you guys. I'd probably been like, oh. So it's like just like little things like that kind of like lifted me up, and has now made me the woman that I am today.
I think for me again, it was like the virtual schools, my personal education advisor and stuff. Like she literally has helped me a lot, and having that contact at university for care leavers as well has helped me get through some challenges, because there's been quite a few times I've literally thought I'm going to drop out, but from the help of the virtual school and the university contact, it's helped me to stay there and like gain that self-belief back that I can like go far. And yeah.
I think for me, it's definitely the university contact. She's helped me so much. I feel like if it wasn't for her, I probably would have dropped out by now. So even in the sense of like, sometimes my YPA and like the social services in my borough in general are really like just slow on the things they do. And like if I had to complain about something, it just wouldn't be done. So she like always reaches up to them herself and like addresses the situation. It will be done like instantly. Even with like the whole money situation, when I need like more work and stuff, she even if it's like little things, like she'll help me just do things I can get paid. And with this whole lockdown thing as well, she's like, yeah, you can work from home, you can do like some like PowerPoints and stuff, like you can make a PowerPoint for me from home, so you can still get paid for that. So I just think she's just supported me like financially as well, and yeah, just in every aspect. Like even like when I have like loads of things on my mind, like she can tell like things are on my mind when I'm at work, so she'll just like, you can take like a break, you know, you can go inside like if you need some time to like calm down or whatever. And like even with the whole lockdown thing, like we've even been on Zoom as well, like we've had conversations. So just like that general just being there, it's really, really helpful.
I think for me, like definitely the biggest help that I've received is just like the financial support, like the fact that, you know, I get a bigger bursary. I just don't think I would have been able to like financially survive if it wasn't for that. Don't think that would have been possible. Okay, so we've come to the end of the questions, and this resource is mainly for foster carers. Is there anything else that anybody like wants to share right now before we finish this discussion?
I think everybody should believe in themselves no matter what their dream is, really and truly. Yeah. And I think the adults working with young people should be able to support that, and not like, I know we've all come from like a traumatic sort of past and stuff, but that trauma does not like define who you are and who you're gonna like become and stuff.
I think for me, it's really important that the foster carers are like in touch with the school as well. So like I feel like there was a lot of resentment that my foster carers had to my school because it was in a different county, and because I refused to leave my school when they asked me to move schools, I was like, no, that's my consistency. But I think had they had a more positive attitude to school, there would have been a lot more support. It would, you know, for both like practically and for my emotional, mental health and education, like I think it would have made a massive difference.
I think as well, for like YPAs and stuff, especially like the social service in general, I feel like when they encourage like people to go to university, and then like when you're there, they don't really like support you or like check up on you. So I think just them being more active in what you do would like be more helpful.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just like encouragement, self-belief. And again, I'm going to say virtual schools. Like, and my personal education advisor literally is amazing. Like, I can't thank her enough for what she's done, because without the virtual schools, I literally would not be here. So I think they're such a solid like foundation of like the link between social workers, schools, the young like people and stuff. Like, it's amazing. Yeah.
I've never even spoken to my virtual school or what really that is, so I can't.
Yeah, neither have I.
Really? Oh my gosh, they're amazing. Like literally, they're incredible.
Yeah, the one in like Bedfordshire, Luton, they're really, really good. They're the only reason why like, I'm there as well.
Yeah, same.
Thank you so much, guys, for like sharing your experiences and like just speaking so honestly and sincerely about kind of the things that, you know, you found really difficult, but also the things that you found helpful, and the people that really like helped you become the people that you are today. I really, really appreciate it, and I know that this resource will do some real good for foster carers and other people as well that come across it. So thanks for giving me your time today, guys.
Thank you.
That's all right.